Hello, welcome to my channel, Manifest with Mama Muchka. Hi, my name is Rachel. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to get out of this avoidant commitment phobe story and get you into the committed, get you that commitment and explain to you what you're doing wrong and why things aren't shifting to commitment and why you keep getting this avoidant commitment phobe story showing up with your person, or even if it's been a multiple of people, what's been going on. So first you need to start with, who are you being? And then understand identity. Like, who are you being with everyone as you pushed out? It's all with your assumptions within you. Then people reflect what your assumptions are within you. So are you assuming that you are in a relationship with an avoidant, a commitment phobe? Like, is that what you're telling? Is that what you're telling your friends and your family? Well, they're a commitment phobe. Well, they're avoidant. Well, they're doing this and this and this wrong. Those are your assumptions. And with everyone as you pushed out, they have to follow that script. So if that's your assumptions, they have to follow that. Or are you working on, because this takes time too, are you manifesting from the identity of that you're in a relationship with a secure, loving, committed person, or secure, open, loving, emotionally available person? So I got you little unhappy person here. And what's going on in your mental diet? What's your inner conversations going on? What are you saying to your friends and family? Are you saying things like, they are avoidant, they are emotionally unavailable, they are overwhelmed, they are too busy for me, they're a commitment phobe, they won't do this, they won't do that, or even they've never been married, or they've never lived with a woman, or they've never done this, so why would they with me? See, if you stay in those assumptions, they have no choice but to keep showing up that way. That's the way law of assumption works. So if you keep assuming that they're avoidant, they're emotionally unavailable, or they've always been avoidant, they've always been emotionally unavailable, all these things, or they've always been a commitment phobe, they have to keep playing what you've identified them with. They have to keep, and you can't, a lot of people also too, they'll flip the script, and they'll start saying, okay, we're in a loving, secure, happy relationship, but they're thinking that they're changing them. So they're not even changing their own, they're still assuming they're avoidant, but they're affirming we're in a loving, committed relationship, and then they're looking up to the other person to change. And then they're like, but they're not changing yet. But it has nothing to do with them. It's nothing to do with them. The only person to change is you, your assumptions. You have the control within you with your assumptions. From within, so without. So it doesn't work where this does not work. You can't say we're in a loving, committed relationship and be looking at them to change. It'll never work, because you're manifesting with the assumption still that they're avoidant. You're manifesting from the avoidant story. So they have to continue being avoidant. And I got a couple stories. So before I go over the rest, I got a couple stories. So I got coaching from 2 coaches last year, because I used to have a story that my person, I picked up this book, the attachment, I think it is. Now I can't even think of the name of the book. With attachments. It was shortly after the breakup, I read this book, and then my person was textbook avoidant. And I was like, oh crap. So I hired these 2 coaches thinking to help me figure out how to get out of the avoidance story. But they assured me that I can continue assuming they're avoidant. They weren't very good coaches. I'm not going to say their names. All I know is, now fast forward to a year and a half later, because that was last summer and we're now almost at the end of 2025. We're like dang near at the end, so I'm going to say a year and a half later. Both of them have broken up with their person, and they said it's because they never changed. Yeah, they never changed because they always labeled them avoidant. And both of their channel, like I think both of them are even getting out of manifesting totally. Like I don't think their channels are even manifesting channels because, and they're just sitting there with videos just bashing their ex. How avoidant. Well, they're the ones that kept assigning that and then saying they're the problem and that they need counseling, they need help, they. It's within you. And luckily learned a lot more, and I got some coaching from some other people, and that was like, and I found some other channels that don't even bring up the avoidant, and plus like reading more of Neville and really going into the law of assumption, what you assume to be true, X is true, what you focus on grows. I mean, I've seen stories of like people where a person has had mental issues and then they stopped focusing on it and they put a new story, they started focusing on that person being healthy, and the person started literally becoming healthy. And so if you stay in the avoidance story and you say it's them, they will never change. They'll never change. They can't. And the funny thing, I got a funny thing to share too. I heard through the grapevine with the one coach that they were in counseling, and the person that was labeled avoidant, they told the other person, you know what? You're actually the problem. And that person was right, because they wouldn't let go of the avoidance story. So they had no choice but to continue being avoidant. Then I got another quick story before I finish telling you this. My very best friend of, oh gosh, I've known her for like 15 years. After we were friends for a while, she's like I'm way more into manifesting at this point than she is, but she's always known about manifesting for years, at least 20 years at this point. She's in her 50s, and she just got married recently. Well, when she first started dating her husband, he was 50, never, ever been with a woman, never even kissed a woman. He had like a long story with that. They start dating. A year later, they moved in together. He sold his house. He moved in with her. She had a bigger house. And then shortly, about 5 months after that, he proposed. Then they got married 6 months later. And I was just talking to her recently, and I'm looking back, and I said, do you know that he was textbook avoidant and commitment phobic? Or like even like womanophobic, like relationship phobic. And I go, you managed to, within a year, move in with this guy, and then within another, year, get married to this guy. So like within 2 years, they're married. And looking back at her talk, she never once said, like, complain to me that he's avoidant or that he's commitment phobic. No, the way she talked, she's like, yeah, things are going good. Things are moving forward. We're getting closer. She was on she was manifesting this marriage. And the way she talked, that was her talks, that they're going in this direction. And he followed. So, if you're this person, and you've got, like, back to, what's your inner, I'm going to repeat this, what is your inner talk? They're avoidant, they're emotionally unavailable, they're overwhelmed, they're too busy for me, commitment phobe. And then the funny thing is like, because I know there's some avoidant channels, and then I've seen where women have commented, oh, this avoidant has hurt me so much. They've hurt me so much. But you're doing it to yourself. Once you start really understanding the law of assumption, and how everything's created from within you, you see how your assumption, you're just hurting yourself, because they're just reflecting your own assumptions that they're commitment phobe, that they won't commit to you, that they're avoidant. And they can't shift. They can't become a new version when you keep them in those assumptions. And this is all resistance. All resistance, inner talk. It's all suffering. It's all resistance to what you do want, that secure, loving relationship. Because that's what is resistance. Resistance is any thoughts against your desire. Or even, these aren't even loving thoughts. They're not even, and you want to speak like spiritual, biblical, Corinthians, the greatest of all is love. This isn't even thinking loving thoughts about them whatsoever. So it's lack. It's total lack, total spiritual lack. Reminder, there's infinite versions of people. Creation's already finished. Within you decide, you choose, you decide the version you desire. So, let me, real quick. So what you do, get rid of this. Get rid of these. Get rid of these thoughts. That's gone. And then I want you to step into this happy person. Also, what you focus on grows. We are in a secure, loving, committed relationship. Like, this is who you're going to be now. This is who you're going to identify as. It doesn't matter what's going on in the 3D. It doesn't matter, like my friend that married the guy that was 50, never lived with a woman for, let's see, from 18 to 50. So that's 32 years. It doesn't matter. 3D doesn't matter. I mean, she could have totally said he's avoidant and he'll never marry me. Like, if she would have came into that relationship right from the get-go, the assumption that he'll never marry her or that he's avoidant, blah, 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 they'd either be broken up at this point or they still wouldn't even be living together if she had those assumptions. But she never even had those assumptions. She had the assumptions right from the get-go that this guy is ready to get married. Because you can flip it into that too. You can switch it into, you know what? They're tired of dead-end relationships. They're tired of being alone or not being married or not living with a person. They're ready to mature. They're ready to be in a healthy, loving relationship. They want a life partner. So you need to go into those thoughts. We are best friends. Like, are you thinking thoughts like that? Our communication gets better and better, especially for like the emotionally unavailable. Like, what are your thoughts towards the emotionally unavailable? You need to really work on your mental diet towards, communication gets better and better. We become more and more open. And two, like, the more you relax with these new assumptions, two, it'll free up, they will come to you. They'll feel safer coming to you instead of being attacked. Because if you're in that avoidant story, you're more attacking, like, ee! And it's a getting energy. I'm not getting. But if you're in a energy of like self-love and you're in an energy that, yeah, things are going great, we're in a loving, committed relationship, you relax, you calm down, and they come forward and they come to you. They don't feel all that pressure. More. We only have eyes for each other. I love that one. We are building a beautiful future together. Like, sit down and what's the new identity? What's the new story? What are you assuming? I mean, it's so important. Who are you identifying with? What are you assuming about this person? Because if you stay in the identity that they're avoidant, that they're a commitment phobe, they don't want to see me, they don't show up for me, they're emotionally unavailable. If you stay into that, they have to keep showing up that way. They cannot step into a secure, loving relationship with you with all those resistant thoughts. You have to figure out a way to get rid of those doubts, get rid of those resistance. You got your power. You're doing your infinite versions of people. You're selecting and you're focusing on than this. Because if you're focused on that, you're staying in lack, and you're going to just keep creating this story that you don't want. So switch your focus onto the new story, the new identity, and you got to go into it. You got to be that. You got to literally start thinking those thoughts. So, I mean, if you need to do affirmations to keep your mental diet on, if you need to do it 5 times a day for 10 minutes to really get that in your, with we are in a secure, loving relationship, to really get you feeling that you are in your imagination, and go to your keep going to your imagination. Don't focus on the 3D. Don't focus on the 3D. Keep going in your imagination. Keep assuming things are getting better and better. We're best friends. We only have eyes for each other. We're building a beautiful relationship together. We're seeing each other more and more. As you keep focusing on that, it'll grow and over time. I mean, I know some people have instant shifts. Some people it takes a few months. It might take if this is like super ingrained, if this seems impossible, it might take a while to get you out of those old assumptions and really drill it in your head, the new assumptions. People will shift. There's stories all the time. Even George Clooney, hate to bring him up, but he dated women for years, and the women, all the women, he was like nationally known as like a commitment phobe, a playboy. And then he met a woman that didn't have those assumptions, and she was like, she didn't buy it. She didn't go with that story. They're married and they have 2 kids. I think 2. He has 2 kids. But like, you see this time and time again. It's like, back to, what are you assuming? You have the free will within you to choose this new identity. And then it shifts timelines, and then they end up shifting because they have to, it's law that people reflect you and they reflect your assumptions. So by law, then they will, in their own reality, then choose you, then become secure, then show up for you, commit to you, love you, be your best friend, all of that. It just, that's how it works. But just make sure that you're not, because I've seen the 2 coaches I had, they were assuming their partner was avoidant from the assumption, staying on the assumption that their partners were avoidant. So their person could never shift. They weren't, I think they might have tried doing, because I remember the one coach saying it never worked. Like, she was trying to. She did tons and tons of scripting, tons and tons of affirmations that they were like in a secure, loving relationship. But she was never doing it from the new identity. She was still doing, like, her videos are avoidant, and still like she was even giving me examples of like how to talk to my person as an avoidant person, which I've cut all that out. Like, I don't watch any commitment. I don't watch any 3D dating coaches. I don't buy into any of that. I don't. And my person slowly is coming more and more forward. I mean, he sends me like paragraphs when we talk, like paragraphs like this. And I even I've uploaded our conversations to ChatGPT, and I'm like, is this an avoidant person? ChatGPT said, no, this is a very emotionally available person. I mean, he's showing vulnerability. He's showing his emotions, everything. But if I would have stayed in this identity of that he's avoidant, I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't see that these long paragraphs of him opening up to me over time, things opening up, and like us, like we've been seeing each other more and more, a little bit slower, more and more and more. but not because I'm going with the identity that we're in this secure, loving, committed, that's my identity I've taken on. That's who I assume from. So he's able to then shift and reflect me, and I see things, you see things differently too. And I see him. I remember before when I used to think this way, and now that I've shifted into these thoughts, and these are my dominant thoughts, I see how much he does for me. I see how much he shows up for me. I see how much the paragraphs of text he sends me. He calls me. We'll talk for an hour or two on the phone when we don't see each other. An emotionally unavailable, avoidant person won't talk to you on the phone for 2 hours weekly or whatever. Like when you don't see, in between seeing each other. Like this is a very, you know what I mean? Anyway, I just felt this would be a really helpful video for people because I know this is a big issue with a lot of people. I mean, couple of my other girlfriends that I do, that I'm friends with, they also have like fallen into this, and we've all we're like, no, we know that we absolutely cannot. And we've all, the one girl, she ended up like moving in after she dropped this. She ended up moving in with her boyfriend, and I think she just got pregnant. So that's not that is a committed guy. My other friend, things are still, there's things still happening and things are evolving, so I won't say. But you cannot have you will stay on this timeline if you keep labeling, if you keep having inner conversations, commitment phobe, blah, blah, blah. You've got to shift your focus into this new identity in order for them to be able to shift. And I know it's so hard. It's so hard to think, but they're showing up this way in the 3D. It's so hard but just building. There's another thing too. I know this is getting long, so I'm going to end here soon. As you work on building your faith in this. Test this on other people. Maybe people you don't have as much high importance. Because before I was testing this on people at work, like bullies at work or like mean girls at work. And I changed my assumptions towards them, and then they shifted, started being nice to me. I'm actually friends with a couple of them now. So then I'm like, okay. And then even Ho'oponopono, how Dr. Hugh Len cured a psych ward. What's the difference between psychotic people, mental illnesses, or labeling somebody avoidant commitment phobe? Our judgments, our assumptions are creating people to stay in that. And he did. He removed his assumptions that they were psychotic, did the Ho'oponopono all day long, and then they shifted to healthy people. And I think they were released from the hospital. Like they actually stopped being psychotic. Believe that or not. So our assumptions are huge, super huge. So, all right, I'm going to leave it at this, and I'll talk to you later. Hope you have a good day.